All right, artist, who is ready to color a dragon eye? So, couple things. One, I've already started, but don't you worry. You can always pause the video. This one I did with oil pastel. If you don't have oil pastel, or that is no problem, you can use other things too. You can use markers, but the next best thing are colored pencils. Now, if you have access to watercolored pencils, like we have in the art room, that would be even better. But you can do this with just regular colored pencils as well. So, I also used a Sharpie and I outlined all of my scales. I colored in the black sides of the eye, and I even colored part of my pupil. Now it looks a little jiggity jaggedy, and that's because I'm going to add a secondary reflection. So I've got the dots that are just going to stay white, and then I kind of made this weird shape, and I'm going to make it like a secondary reflection, but you can skip that part as well if you choose to. This is a choice. All right, and I made some scales already just so you can kind of see the direction that we're going. I didn't have any scales down here, and I already put some color on the eyes. So this is what I did. Let's go ahead and talk about the scales. I chose green for my scales, and I'm going to make purple for my eye. I chose complementary colors that are almost opposite on the color wheel, at least in this case, so that they have good, strong contrast. Blue and orange are a true complementary color, a true opposite. Purple and green are close, but not quite. Anyway, enough with that. So I chose, as you can see, I pulled all of my green colored pencils that I can find, and I ordered them from light to dark. So dark, I have a dark brown and a black, because eventually I don't actually want to see any of those Sharpie lines. I want the Sharpie to blend in with my project. So I'm only going to do a little bit. You might have to watch the video a couple times. And the way it starts is you color with your lightest color first. To make a realistic dragon eye, it's going to look more realistic the more you layer color on top of each other. So I went ahead, started with my lightest. With my next color, I'm going to color mostly on the right side of each scale, and I'm only working on these 4 scales. To make your colored pencil not appear scratchy, it's good to go in small circle motions. All right. Go to put the next one down. Same thing, except my C shape is getting a little bit smaller. And I'm actually kind of going all the way lightly around the whole scale. But my goal is to leave the corner quite light. Can you see how each of the corners are a little bit lighter? So this does take a lot of time because you have to put love into every scale. You can't just wing it. Everything counts. Even when you think you're not really doing much, you are. Same thing, really gonna darken the right side. And really kind of going all the way around the scale, but it's only pulled out on the right side. It's a layering process. Finally, I'm to the black and the brown. And this is the part where I'm trying to blend in my Sharpie lines. I don't actually want to see them. And again, I know that I have had lots more practice. I also probably am showing more patience. All right. And lastly, back with the black. Try your best. This helps create depth, making everything look a little more 3D. All right, so that is how you can make some scales. All right, I'm gonna put those away for a little while. And again, I'm not gonna finish everything. I am gonna start my eye. So I already kind of layered the colors as well. And I put my lightest color down, my lightest-ish. And actually, I'm gonna go around and, what's my favorite technique here? I'm gonna actually go with my darker colors and go right along my pupil. This takes a lot of layering. There really isn't necessarily the best trick in the whole world for this. It's just more layering. And I'm thinking, you know, around the iris, it's darker, and by the pupil too. And if you look closely at an iris, you'll see that the lines go out, away from the pupil. I'm just making lines out from the pupil. So pay attention to the direction that you are using your colored pencils. And I'm not being very perfect either. They're kind of like W's almost, but trying not to get perfect W's. That's harder to do than you think, because your brain wants to do perfect type shapes, and I'm adamantly trying to not have that. So just going back and forth. I started with my lightest, but I'm just adding colors to make it more interesting. Now, I'm not going very slow. If I was truly going slow, I would spend more time doing this. But for the sake of the video, once again, I'm going really fast. So I'm gonna stop there-ish, for that part anyway. And then I'm gonna take my purple and I'm gonna try kind of push it into this blue a little bit, because this part I want to blend in. All right, I'm gonna darken a lot of the blue. I might even have to bring some black in to outline my pupil a little bit more. If you don't, I'm really gonna darken where the black and blue meet. And I'm gonna bring black back definitely right there, so again, I don't see the Sharpie line. Right here is what I'm referring to. So I definitely need to use my black colored pencil. And use it as a blending tool. I'm gonna put black along the top of everything actually, because your eyelid creates a shadow, and I'm blending it down again. So, play, layer colors, think about how things work, like how your eye is inside your eyelid, therefore there's a shadow. All right, guys. I'm gonna keep playing with this. It is just so fun to keep playing with it. And while you all give it a whirl. Now again, practice makes perfect, so what are you gonna do? Happy arting today, folks.